Hi, Regina. Can you hear me? Okay. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
How are you?
No.
Sorry
Okay.
about
Good.
that.
Can you see me?
No, I cannot. I see like a little computer icon, and that's about it.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Let me see.
Mhm.
Ah,
Now I see your neck. Now it was back to the icon again.
just my name. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry. Because
Hmm.
I need you to see the screen. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's back to that icon again.
okay.
Hmm.
Yep. Thought I had it there for a minute. My husband changed up the settings. I'm going to have to ask him to
Oh,
maybe come up here for a minute. Hang on.
okay.
Let me see. Let's see if I do this. Oh, you could probably see can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your command now.
Command. Okay,
Hmm.
good. All right. So I'm gonna have to see what's going on here. All right. You can still see it?
Yeah, I see your command. Hmm.
Okay, good. So this is what I do. I just check everybody's files
Hmm.
and then I will let you know if there's something wrong or if there's something missing from your file.
Hmm.
So you'll get either a returned or a rejected or missing files.
Hmm.
Um, the most important thing for all of you, I think I have 3 of you on here now. Um, you have to submit your files, especially the working with real estate agents and the either the listing agreement or the purchase agreement or the buyer's agency agreement within
Hmm.
3 days of signing. Okay.
Okay.
So put those into command as soon as you get them and then press submit for review.
Okay.
Okay. Um, that way I'll get those. I mean, probably be rejected because all the documents aren't in there, but that's okay. As long as I'll tell you what's missing and what's not missing. So that's important. That's a law so you have to have those submitted so we can see them. The other thing is I want to mention is the working with real estate agents. Technically, it should be dated before the listing or buyer's agency agreement, because you have to present that at first substantial contact. So, if you can do that, that would be great. I don't really check the dates. That I check that there is a date on there, but I won't deny it or reject it because of the date. But just to play it safe, try to get that dated before, because when there is an audit, that's what they'll check. So that's a little piece of advice. Anyway, so once you have those submitted, get all the other documents ready. And then all of the other documents are, all your listing documents should be submitted after you get all the documents together, like the disclosures, the MOG, you've verified the septic and sewer. If there's a coming soon, you've got the measurements and the CMA. So all that should be submitted actually before it goes under contract, okay, in the listing. If it's a buyer's agency, then you should submit all those at least 7 days before closing, okay, in the buyer's agency agreement. Or if you have a listing, all the buyers or the under contract documents should be submitted at least 7 days before closing. Okay. Why is that? And I'm getting this more and more now, where people are just submitting when they close. And so I don't even see these. As you can see over here, see these 3 checked. That's what I am checking on a daily basis. This one that says open, that's when you put documents in there, but don't hit submit. So make sure you hit submit, because I'm not going to check 2,960 files. That's really impossible for me to do. So, but that's what's going to happen if you don't hit submit. Okay, so make sure you hit submit at least 7 days before closing. Even if you don't have all the documents in, make sure you submit whatever you do have, and then I'll let you know what's still missing and what's needed.
Okay, Karla, did you say
Yes.
on the open to make sure everything's submitted, but do not hit submit at the open tab? Is that correct? Did I understand?
No, this is for me. This
Right,
is
exactly.
what I'm seeing. So this
Okay.
will, so when you do this, let me see if I can find one. Oh gosh, sorry about that. And I can't, of course. Well, I'll show you one that's open.
Mm-hmm.
So see how this is all open?
Mm-hmm.
See where it says open? So what happened is she has put all these documents in here,
Mm-hmm.
but in her file up here, there's a submit button.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't submit that for review. So
Okay.
I don't even see these documents unless like Lynn says, hey, I've got to check for this, but nothing's checked. Then I'll have to look for the file.
Okay.
So I don't check these. I don't see them. They don't come up on my queue unless I check that button, which I'm not going to do on a daily basis,
Oh, okay.
because the open ones date back to 2019.
Okay.
So I'm not checking all those.
Right.
Okay. So just make sure you click submit.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you one of mine. So in the opportunities, has your command been slow lately?
I hadn't been on it today or
Okay.
yesterday, so I'm not sure.
Anybody? Yeah, I just wondered. So we'll just go here. So, yeah, so this is what you're seeing. So see where it says, okay, so right here, if I'm in the approved, if I add a document in here, this is the submitted button.
Okay.
I think it's red or green, whatever.
Mhm.
But just make sure you hit that once you have your documents in here, okay?
Okay.
So the listing, this is the South Carolina. So it would be the working with real estate agent and buyer agency agreement. And then if you have the purchase agreement, that's fine, put that in there and
Mhm.
then click submit.
Okay.
Now, if you have other documents prior or within that 3-day window, put them in there and I'll check them
Okay.
because that it just doesn't make sense that you wouldn't. Okay.
Mhm.
Any questions so far?
Not for me. That was the only one I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's really, really important that you submit those soon, early and often, because you don't want to submit them when you close because there's probably, or there might be some documents missing or they might be incorrect. Then you'll have to go back to your client and get them corrected after closing, which doesn't look too good. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So, all right. So you've submitted your files and I'll review them. Now this is a new construction file. So if you have a buyer's agency, make sure you're picking the right file. So when you first do your opportunity, it's going to ask you select a list or select a file or something like that. Now you'll notice if it's a buyer, if you click on that little down arrow, there's a whole list of buyer files, okay, or sales files. So if your buyer has purchased a new construction, or if they're even looking at new construction or whatever, put it in there. Select that, either North or South Carolina. Make sure it's one or the other, okay? So you pick that, and the reason that you want to pick a new construction, and that's what he had picked, I'll show you. On here is the new construction. This is all the documents that are required. There's 6 that are required in the new construction files. I think 7 in South Carolina because you need the wire fraud warning. But then actually there's 3 of them because these 2, the building receipt, the deposit, and the commission agreement are usually found in the sales contract. Okay. But we do ask you that you separate those out of the sales contract because that can be rather lengthy, and put those in there. Okay. So this one is, this is a short one, only 7 pages, but they can be 40, 50 pages and more. And I have to scroll through all of them. Okay. So don't put the whole construction agreement in these 2. You have to separate those pages out and put them in there. Okay. So my point is the new construction is a lot shorter. You don't need all those other documents in a normal sales contract. Have you all done, have you guys done any transactions yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so this will be good to know that you're going to do this. Let me see. So this is a North Carolina sales file. So this is a pre-owned house. And notice all of these documents. Okay, these are all placeholders for documents that could be required in a North Carolina sales file. If you'll notice down here, the copy of the MLS, the property disclosures, mineral oil, gas, septic and sewer, professional services disclosure, title insurance, affiliated business disclosure. You didn't see any of those in a new construction. Okay, so make sure you're picking the right one. Okay,
Yes, thank you.
that's it. Okay. So listing isn't as in-depth as that because you're usually not going to list a new construction. Let's see. All these are buyers. Here's a listing. And this is so the listing file is here and it's pretty in-depth too. Okay, but the listing, this is a South Carolina, here's your listing list of ones that you can choose from. And 2 of them are commercial, so you probably won't need won't use those. So the one you really have to be concerned about is the buyer's one. Make sure it's the new construction if you're using it. Because I get a lot of that. That's why I'm kind of emphasizing that, is because I get a lot of that they'll just put them in the sales file when it's new construction. And you're adding a lot of documents that aren't really necessary. Okay. So going back to the buyers, either new construction or just a regular sales file, there's a consultation folder. Now, in a regular buyer's one, there's a couple of documents in there. So it says sample documents. That's in the consultation folder. I don't care what you put in there, just don't submit the consultation folder for a review. Okay. I don't need to see the sample offer to purchase or the professional services disclosure, the sample copies, nor do I, a lot of times you'll put your working with real estate agent or the South Carolina one in there, but that's you have to put it again in the under contract folder. Okay. So make sure that you're only submitting the under contract and the closed folder. Okay. So you're putting all these documents in here. The ones that you'll need to have, and you can find those in the checklists in KWB resources. Have you looked into those yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Let me see if I can't pull those up here real quick and show those to you.
Mhm.
Well, I know.
You're talking about the list that there's one for sellers and one for buyers, like a checklist that you need, the forms that you need. Yeah, I printed those out.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me share. Screen too. You can see I pulled up the calendar. This is KWB resources. So what you're going to do is go into office resources, into forms and checklists. Do you know the password to get in there?
BAM MC 350.
Yeah, capital B and then small letter AMC 350. Okay, that's the password for anybody who doesn't know that. And then it'll take you right over here to the office checklist. So you can either use these.
Excuse me.
And yes.
Do you mind to repeat the password?
Yeah, it's capital B as in boy. And then small letter AMC. That's Ballantine Area Market Center. In case you wonder. BAMC 350.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay. Sure. So these are all the checklists that you'll need for your listing or your sales. And then it also tells you, I really haven't, where is it? Oh, the comparables here. So this is what you're going to need for North Carolina forms versus South Carolina forms. Okay. So you can just look those over. And then the checklist, if you're doing a listing, this is a listing sale. So if you're doing the North Carolina listing, you'll see that these say within 3 days of the effective date. Okay. Submit for review in DocuSign. Hopefully you're all using DocuSign. Okay. Dotloop you have to pay for. Some people still use it, and that's fine, but you still have to submit them. Okay, so these are the ones that you'll need. The MLS sheet sometimes you don't have to. I don't check that so much as these three: the working with real estate agent and the listing agreement. I said 3, but I meant 2. If you have a firm exclusive, meaning they don't want it advertised in the MLS or anywhere, then you need the firm exclusive agreement signed by the BIC. Signed by everybody, including the BIC. And coming soon, obviously, you'll need to submit that as well. And those 2 documents need to be signed by Sabra. And then when you get the coming soon, obviously, if it's firm exclusive, if I see the firm exclusive agreement in there, I'll know not to look for that. Okay. And then the second submit for review, all these other documents should be in command no later than 7 days before closing. I'm pretty well caught up, but I know it's getting busier, so I might be a day or so behind in checking files. So just know that it'll be checked before closing. So, okay, so all these documents, and then of course the closing is when you're going to put the closing statement, the CD, Alta, whatever, and then you close out your MLS, and then you do the KWLS. And that's the Keller Williams listing service. It kind of goes with the MLS. You want me to show you how to do that real quick? If anybody, anybody have a listing coming up? Anyway, so if you don't, but here's how you do the KWLS. You go to mykw.kw.com and you can go /intranet, KW intranet, but I just go to kw.com. It looks like this. This is what we used to use before. Okay. Has anybody seen this? This is mykw.kw.com.
Yes.
Okay. Then you go into technology tab and scroll down to the KWLS. All right. And then it'll come up like this. You can expand it and then find a listing. So you're going to find your listing. However, you could do the MLS number or the street number. Let me see if I can find a listing in here. It's not going to be in there. Let me do this one. 13606. And then Roads. and then search. And you'll see that came up and it says it's expired. So what you're going to do, you're going to pull that up and you'll see this page right here. What you'll do is scroll down to the bottom. You'll have an edit button and that'll make all of these editable. And in the listing status, once you've closed on your property, you're going to change that to sold. Okay. And then the current price is going to be the sold price. And then scroll down and hit save. And then you're going to right click and print that screen. Okay. So this is what a KWLS, this is the Keller Williams listing status. So it's everything that goes into MLS. And it's just, I don't know why it's here, but you have to do it. Don't ask questions, you just have to do it. Okay. All right. Okay, so now, like I said, under all of these, here's the required documents. In addition to that checklist in KWB resources, this is kind of a checklist here, right in command. Okay. All the ones that are required, obviously are required. That means they have to be in there. And then the other ones are conditional. And then if you have to know why it's conditional, just hover over that little icon there. And if it's vacant land, obviously you're going to use the offer to purchase for vacant land.
Karla, excuse me. What screen are you in? Because right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me change it back. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the ones I was talking about. All the others these are required documents. And then the conditional ones, if you need to know why, if it's needed, just hover over that little I. Okay. Optional, the bill of sale. If there's a personal property being sold. Okay. So anyway, all the ones that say required are the ones I'm going to look for. Obviously, if the property is before 1978, I'll look for the lead-based paint. Also, in the offer to purchase, if any of the ones on page, I think it's 12 now. Oops. Yeah, page 12. All these addenda that are possible. So lead-based paint is checked. So I'll obviously look for it. A lot of times this additional provisions addendum is checked, but any of these that are checked, I'm going to look for in the opportunity. Okay. So if additional provisions addendum was checked, it's down here and I'll make sure it's there. Okay. Any questions on that?
Not for me.
Okay. So let's see. This was updated. There's no other rejected one. If you need, let's say, oh, I forgot to add a signature or an initial or something, and I need to put the new document in there now. I need to put the new offer to purchase. You just come over here to those three little dots next to where your original one is and click update. Okay. And then it'll ask you to put a whole new, I'll show you. It says you don't have to answer this. Why are you reloading this document? You'll just put the document in there and update it. Okay. So that's how when one of the documents is rejected, that's how you're going to put the new corrected one in there. Okay. So let's say you have an LLC as a client, and there you need to put the documentation in there. If you have an like a investor or something that uses an LLC, you need to put that documentation in there so that we have proof that the signer is eligible, is validated. Okay. So there's not a placeholder for that yet. I have it on my list to tell Lynn. But you add a document here. So in this little shaded area, there's 3 big dots. You click on those dots and you can add a document. Okay. And then once you add the document, you have to name the document, and then the document type, I don't care what that is. You can, whatever it is, you can put whatever you want. Okay. But just name it like LLC documentation or whatever it is. And then that will appear down at the bottom of the screen. So if I see that your buyer is an LLC, I immediately scroll down to see if you have any documentation down here. Okay. And if not, I'll put when it says ad hoc, that means that the document's not in there, but the name is, and I'll put that in there and then mark it as missing. Okay. So that's how you replace a document. And then make sure all these required documents are in there. If the buyer happens to terminate, there's all these termination ones in here. With a mutual agreement, or a notice to seller from buyer, notice to buyer from seller. All those, just put them in the right one. Okay. And then, like I said, submit for review. These are all the under contract ones. If there's not a placeholder, if you have like an agreement to amend or a due diligence request and there's not a placeholder here, first look in the closed folder to make sure they're not in there, because that's where they belong. Okay. The due diligence request and agreement to amend in North Carolina belong in the closed folder. Okay. And again, in the closed folder, here's the required document. Obviously, the HUD, their CD, and then any other things that you have, then you'll just put those in there. Click submit for review. And then you have one last thing to do, either in the buyer agency, buyers or sellers. You have to show your offers and commissions, because here's a number, and that number right down here, this DA number, DA means disbursement authorization. So when Lynn gets a check, a commission check, she has to assign a DA number. And you do that by going to the offers and commissions tab. Okay. Offers and commissions tab. What you're going to do, this is an offer right here. So you're going to have to put the offer in, even if it's, you could put one in there, and then if it terminates, you don't have to do anything with it. But once you do the offer that is accepted, then you're going to put all the information in here. It's just a rundown of what the offer is, obviously, how is it financed, the earnest money amount, the option fee, which is usually the due diligence fee, closing date, and then it asks stuff about the seller and the listing agent. Okay, so once you put all that in, you have to accept that offer. Okay, and then there will be two buttons here. She's already done this, so there'll be two buttons, one that says manage commission. Okay, so you're going to press that manage commission, and it'll come up looking like this. Usually this is going to be blank, and you'll have to edit it and fill in what's needed. Okay, make sure all of these are right. Make sure your commission rate is correct. Okay. If it's just you, then you're going to be one unit. Okay, you're just buying and selling one unit. So you'll notice, since this, I don't think he'll mind, but PJ, he only has half a unit because he's getting 50% of this, and then Cecilia is getting the other half. So usually it'll be your unit, one unit. Okay. And just follow the prompts. You know, it's just, usually this is all filled out already. Just like I said, the contract date, just make sure it's all correct. It's like, oh no, my commission rate's only 2.5%. Then you have to edit it, put 2.5%, and it'll recalculate your total. And this is what the total breakdown is then. Okay. And then once everything is, you've checked this all out and everything's right, there's going to be, instead of terminate, there's a submit button. Make sure you submit that as well, because otherwise Lynn won't be able to see it as well. So Lynn will assign that disbursement authorization number. So when she gets the check, she sees that, and then she can process your check right away. So what I see a lot of is that these aren't submitted. So make sure, this is very important in how you get paid. If this isn't completed, or if it's not submitted, it's going to delay your payment. Okay. So this is a very important tab in here. Obviously, the documents tab is extremely important because you need all your documents. In the opportunity details, once you have the opportunity, let's say they've found a house, the buyer has found a house, you'll need to go in here in the details, put that address in here, please. Okay. Because that's usually how we find, if you can edit here in the opportunity name, put the address in there, because that makes it easiest for us to find the opportunity. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
I don't at this time. I do want to ask, is this review listed anywhere where we can view it? In case I'm still working, and just in case I have to jump off, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So I believe that it's recorded. You can ask Liz.
Okay.
I think they're all recorded. So
Yeah.
you
I know
just
some
ask
of them
Liz
are.
where
I
to
just
find it.
want to
I'm
make
not.
sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. These custom folders. There's a custom folder here. Oops, let me see. Miscellaneous documents. Like, this is stuff that I don't have to look at. I don't even look at them really. Because it has a home warranty invoice and a pre-approval letter, which I don't have to check. So anything that's not related to what needs to be in the documents, anything that's not in here that you know of, then you just put them in a custom folder if you need to. Okay. Like the like home inspection, You don't need to put that down there. Okay. So the sales file is the under contract folder and the closed folder. Don't submit this consultation folder. So have any of you used DocuSign yet? Played
No,
with it?
not done yet.
Not yet. Okay. So usually, you can attach your files and you can either do custom folders, my computer, or it will also say DocuSign. Okay. Once if you have all your documents in DocuSign, what'll happen is this will come up and then you'll click on the, it'll be blank. It won't have this browse thing in here. It'll just be blank. If you click on it, it'll have a list of all the documents that you have in DocuSign. Okay. And then you choose the correct one. So if you're doing a buyer's agency, then you're going to click find the buyer agency, and then make sure that it's the one that's signed. Okay. I'm going to my DocuSign. Okay. When you go into your DocuSign, you're going to go to your rooms. You're going to create a room. Okay. Let me go here. So if you once you create a room, you're going to name it, but it's going to first come up in this details section. Okay. So you're going to click edit in here and see that now you can edit everything. Make sure if you fill in as much as you can, because in your listing agreement, my dog just underneath me, and your buyer agency agreement, on the last page, where they sign, I'm going to ask for the client's, their name, the signature, their email, phone number, and their current mailing address. Okay. And all that is right here. So I put their name, their email, and their current mailing address. Okay. Seller number 2, same thing. And then the listing agent, all the information that you know, which should be everything. And then this is the buyer, and buyer 2. You don't have to know all that because it's not going to go on anything. And then the buyer's buyer agent. Okay. So anytime you have any of that stuff, edit in here and then make sure you save. So I've got the address. I think it'll ask you, it does put down all the, like the legal description and all that. Okay. This is the listing date, the expiration date. You can put all that in there, whatever you want to do. Okay. However much you know, all this information is going to transfer onto your documents so that you don't have to fill that in after you pull them up. Okay, it's going to pre-fill them, which is a huge, huge time saver. Okay. Now, if you go into the documents, see how it says just the form? That's where you add it from DocuSign. Okay. And then these forms are pre-filled with all that information from your details. Okay. You pick out what is needed. I'm up in Ohio now and I didn't realize I had all these Ohio things in here. Interesting. Anyway, back to you guys. Anyway, so that's what you're going to do. Pick out your listing, buyers, sale file, listing file, and then all those documents will populate, okay? So now, since I put all that information into my details section, when I pull up the form, the one that says form on it, this is where you can kind of edit everything. Sorry, it's so slow. Here we go. Now, everything that I have in my details section is in there, okay? So here, all that stuff was pre-populated. Notice how there's NA in these. I put those in there. This is where you can now, based on your information, you're going to do all the check marks. You're going to fill in everything that's not filled in, such as the NA on things that you're not going to use. Items leased or not owned, nothing, okay? Put NA in there, don't leave it blank. Okay. So that's what it is. This right here, the buyer's agency or the listing, you cooperate with the buyer's agent. Just that one. So there's 3 choices. It's only the middle choice because we don't cooperate with subagents and we don't cooperate with the other firm's attached policy. Okay. So all that then is filled in. I put the date in. If it's a coming soon, check that. Check, 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 check. If it's not coming soon, don't check that, or else I'll look for the date. Okay. If this is public marketing, make sure they initial. And then, or if it's not public marketing, if they want a firm exclusive, nothing should be checked and they should only initial here, office exclusive. Okay. All right. So anyway, so I've made all of these choices. And then I think it's the fuel tank. This is one that's not filled in a lot. Make sure you fill that in because now this is a 2022 document, but in 2023, it's been a more prominent feature in the listing and buyer's agency agreement or listing agreement because there's been a lot of litigation about fuel tanks, meaning people, you know, like if it says there's not one and they found that there was one, then they'll take them to court. So kind of do your due diligence too when you're doing your listing. Walk around the property, make sure there's no unusual pipes or something sticking out of the ground, which might indicate that there's a fuel tank on there. Okay. So make sure all these are checked, you know, because if you miss that, then I'll go back and ask you to fill those in. The other thing is here, it looks a little different in 2023. Now notice that it says authorization for dual agency, meaning you are representing both the buyer and seller. Designated agency means that there's 2 different, there's a listing agent and the buyer's agent, both from our firm. Okay. And then there's also exclusive representation. Notice this word right here is or. I see a lot of them that they've initialed all 3. So don't let them initial all 3 because they can't they can only initial these two or this one. In DocuSign, once you have it pre-fills where they're supposed to initial, and they're in different colors. Now, some of these are just white. Okay, so they look like they're not assigned to anybody. Just drag them to the left if you don't want them to actually initial all three. Just drag that little it's not on here, but drag the little initial box to the left, and that'll delete it from that spot. Okay, so that's that. And notice now, since I had all that stuff in the detail section, it automatically filled it. Otherwise, you have to, click on it, fill it all out. So it makes so much time. Okay. And then once you've completed everything, then you're going to save and close it. And then that's when you create the envelope. Okay. Then you click on it, and then you create the envelope. Okay. So if I have some envelopes here that I've already done, no, they're all completed. Let me see if I can. Well, I have I have a slow computer, sorry. Or not. Well, I'm sorry. It's not going to let me show you, but it'll have color coded. So if you have a buyer and two people that are selling, those signature fields and the initial fields where they have to complete them are color coded. So Mr. Smith might have a yellow one, Mrs. Smith might have a blue one that she has to initial. And then, like I said, some of them are just not colored. And so you would just either make them required or leave them at that. But that's in the dual agency or office exclusive representation. Those are going to be clear, so they're not going to be colored. You can delete those. Okay. The ones that you don't want, like the exclusive representation. Okay. So once you have the envelope, if you send it away, they'll get it signed, and then you'll get the completed one back. So, so this is notice I put fully executed. The listing agreement, that means that it's signed by everybody, okay, and completed. And it's all correct. So I changed the name of it. You can do that by right-clicking and rename it, so that when I want to put them in my command, once you click here to put them in command, you can look for that one that you've renamed, because you'll know that that's completed and that's the one you want in command. Does that make sense? It probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense now because you're not doing it, but once you do it once or twice, you'll know what I mean. Because in command, when you click there to pick your document out of DocuSign, they'll all be in there. Every one of these files will be in there. So you have to scroll through. So if you do the right to sell listing agreement, you'll see that there's four of them. So 4 of them are going to come up. but you'll see that this one says fully executed because I renamed it. Okay. So just trying to help you out there a little bit because I get a lot of ones that are blank. It's like, oops, you chose the wrong one. So now you have to go back and choose the correct one. All right. The septic and sewer, the ones that say the DS here are in DocuSign. Okay. And then these underlined ones, you could actually click on only the underlined ones and you can pull up a blank document. Okay, you can't do it. I mean, you have to download it and then upload it, either to DocuSign or to print it out. But on the septic and sewer, make sure you have the property address, and then you have to call the city or county utility provider and make sure it's connected, or pick one of these if it's on a septic tank. But you have to verify water and sewer. And then the title insurance and affiliated business disclosure is because we have a business relationship with Carolina Gold and Heritage Title. So that's a RESPA law that those need to be completed. Any questions? I know that's a lot of information, and I'm sure if you do it the way I said, the main thing is you're going to have your transaction coordinator, you're going to have your coach to help you through the documents. But if you submit them in time and do everything I said, with the offers and commissions, the documents, if you submit them on time, you'll be able to get paid, usually a day after we get the check, if everything's correct. Okay. So that's the important thing. And I'm always here. If anybody needs me, just call me or send me an email. And I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Great. Thank you, Karla.
Okay. You're welcome. You guys have a good day.
You too. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. See you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.